What's up everyone, I'm Calamontoast, and in today's video I'm going to be showcasing what I believe to be the best anti-meta team in the Halloween Cup. Now these battles were from the first day of the Halloween Cup, so the meta may shift slightly and this team may become slightly less viable, but as things stand there are so many Pokemon weak to the ground typing, but typically the only ground types you're going to see are Nidoqueen and Runerigus, which deal mostly poison and ghost type damage, so for a lot of players the ground typing isn't even considered when building a team, which means that I'm able to absolutely run through most teams with the heavy mud slap damage coming from Golurk and Krookodile. Now with the Golurk we've also got Shadow Punch and Dynamic Punch for charge moves. Dynamic Punch is really nice coverage for those dark types, and on Krookodile we've got Earthquake and Crunch, so some pretty hard hitting moves. Gonna be pretty slow to get to those moves, but because of that mud slap damage we're often able to completely farm down a Pokemon and then come out with a ton of energy. Now the ghost and dark typing have very different weaknesses, so it's quite difficult to cover all of those weaknesses with a Pokemon in the lead, but I think Shadow Mawile does that best because obviously Krookodile is weak to the fighting and fairy typing. Mawile can hit for super effective damage against both and also does resist the fairy type damage, and as well Golurk is weak to the dark typing and Mawile once again does resist the dark typing and can hit for super effective damage. Now flies as well, going to be dealing resisted damage up against the Mawile. Ice types also going to be resisted, grass types as well, although we're not really going to see too many grass types, and then water types, a lot of them are still going to be dealing resisted damage with the fast moves. It's going to be mostly Toxapex, so that should be fine, and we will be able to run through a Toxapex with that mud slap damage. So with that being said, let's get into the question of the day. Which Pokemon has been the MVP for your team in the early Halloween Cup meta? Let me know in the comment section below, and with that being said, let's get into the battles now. Alright, so going into the first battle here, we're going to lead into a Shadow Tyranitar, so a pretty good lead for me. They're actually running Bite, which is a bit of a surprise, but we do resist it, although you can see Bites are absolutely chunking this Shadow Mawile. We get a shield with the Iron Head, so I'm going to swap into the Krookodile, and my opponent is absolutely core broken by this Krookodile. They switch into a Confusion Wormadam trash here, so we're going to shield up the Iron Head, go for one more Mud Slap, go for a Crunch, and if they let this go through, I will be able to fully Mud Slap, farm them down. They do let it go through and I'm able to farm them down before they get to the next charge move. And we're going to see what my opponent comes into next. They come in with a Dragalge, once again weak to the ground typing, so they're core broken and absolutely getting destroyed by this mud slap damage. We're even able to get to another Crunch here, and my opponent has a tough decision to make here. They actually let it go through, they're able to buy it, farm me down, but we've got a second mud slap user in Golurk, and I'm able to take out the Tyranitar and take that game. Into the next game, we lead into a Swampert. That shouldn't be in the Halloween Cup. We've obviously gone into the wrong league, and this is a massive problem. Swampert is going to easily beat my whole team. We let a Hydro Cannon go through. We barely hang on. We're going for a Play Rough. We need this to go unshielded, and it does. We swap into Golurk. My opponent panics. They are so surprised by this massive giant thing that they don't even go for a charge move or swap out. They come in with a Galarian Stunfisk. We've got the Dynamic Punch. Dynamic Punch takes out the Stunfisk, and they have a Trevenant in the back. Now this is a bit problematic. Trevenant still going to be very strong up against this team. We let the charge move go through because if we shield there, we give Trevenant an opportunity to fully Shadow Claw farm me down. We're going to come in with the Krookodile here. They're going for the charge move straight away, so we do get 2 extra turns in for free there. We're going to keep on building up our energy. They go for another Seed Bomb straight away, so I'm predicting that they're probably going to do the same thing for a third time in a row. So I'm going to swap into the Shadow Mawile, catch the move, and at this point we're going to be able to fully Mud Slap, farm down this grass type and take out the Trevenant, and we're able to win in the Open Great League with this anti-meta Halloween Cup team. So that was pretty insane. Into the next game, we lead into a Toxapex. We're going to swap into the Golurk. My opponent comes in with a Shadow Sharpedo, and things are not looking great for us here. I said there's not going to be too much water damage, but Shadow Sharpedo is an exception. They're going to go straight for a Poison Fang. It is resisted. It's still going to do a lot of damage, and it will will debuff my defense, but that's fine. They're going to come back in with the Toxapex here. We're going to overfarm, go for a CMP tie if they choose to throw, which they do. We go for the Play Rough. That really doesn't do an awful lot of damage, but I'm going to let the Mawile go down. I'm reading that they might have a Shadow Tyranitar in the back, and I'm correct. These Mudslaps are doing huge damage. I'm able to farm them down before they even get to a charge move, and at this point I'm going to go for a crunch here, hoping to get a defense drop. They let it go through, we do get the defense drop, and at this point my opponent realizes that there's nothing they can do, and I'm able to take that game. So GG's to that opponent there. Into the next game, we lead into a Purified Sableye. This is actually kind of tricky because even though we do resist the foul play and the return, the Shadow Claws really add up. They safe swap into a Shadow Golbat. We don't really have a response here, so we're going to stay in. We go for an Iron Head. Iron Head gets a shield from my opponent. They're also going to go straight for a Poison Fang. We can let it go through. We're now going to swap into the Golurk. And I'm able to farm them down before they get to a Shadow Ball, which is perfect. We now have a Shadow Punch loaded, so we're going to go for it straight away. Up against the Sableye, we get a shield, which is really nice. And at this point, we're 2 shields up. I'm thinking we should be pretty good here, as long as they don't have another flying type in the back. But even then, Mawile still has a decent amount of health if it is something like a Mandibuzz, and we should be able to get to a move. But they switch out, trying to catch the crunch on a Toxapex, allowing me to get to the Earthquake. And Earthquake is going to be one-shotting the Toxapex. And at this point, they're not going to be able to get to 3 charge moves, and I will be able to Mud Slap, farm down the Sableye, and take that game. So GG's to that opponent there. Into the next game, we lead into a Shadow Beedrill. This actually isn't that bad, but we're going to swap out, and my opponent also instantly swaps out into a Shadow Drapion. Now, because they swap out straight away as well, I'm thinking that they're probably running an ABB style team as well. So we're going to go for the Shadow Punch here on the CMP tie with the next crunch. My opponent does shield it, and I'm thinking, you know what, they've done absolutely no fast move damage here, so I'm just going to shield that, and then I should come out with a bit of energy. We might be able to threaten a shield depending on what comes back in. They're going to come in with the Beedrill here. We're going for the Shadow Punch. Can we get a shield, or will they know it's just a Shadow Punch? They do let it go through, so nice play by my opponent. They're going to take no risks here, just go straight for the Drill Run. They take me out. I'm thinking it's going to be a Shadow Skuntank in the back, and I am right. We're going to swap here, trying to catch a charge move, or just forcing them to throw their energy. Flamethrower from this range, or from full health, will one-shot the Mawile, but I'm able to come in, Mud Slap, farm down the Skuntank, and then farm down the Beedrill, and I'm able to take that game. So GG's to that opponent there. Into the next game, we lead into a Galarian Weezing, so we're going to stay in, go for an Iron Head, and then eventually swap into the Golurk to start dealing some massive Mud Slap damage up against this Poison type. My opponent is going to throw a move. It could be an Overheat, which would do huge damage, so I do shield it up. It's just a Play Rough, but honestly, that still would have done a decent amount of damage. We're going to go for a Shadow Punch, and can we get a shield from the Sableye? No, we do not, but they're going to go for a farm down, meaning I'm able to get to 1 more Shadow Punch, and now we will get a shield from this Sableye. Now at this point, I'm going to come in with the Shadow Mawile, and although we do resist all of the charge moves Sableye is going to throw, we're actually going to take quite a lot of damage from the Shadow Claws, and that will put me into range where they're actually able to KO me from this second charge move. But that is fine. Foul Play takes me out. I'm going to come in with the Krookodile, and I'm hoping that I'm going to core break another team, and I am able to. They come in with a Golurk, so they're running a double ghost team here. I don't have to shield anything this throws because it's all resisted. We're going to overfarm, go for the crunch here, making sure they don't catch the move, which they don't. We go for the crunch. Crunch takes them out. I'm going to go for another crunch, and from this range, because of that Mud Slap damage, Crunch is able to take out the Galarian Weezing, and I'm able to take that game. So GG's to that opponent there. Into the next game, we lead into another Toxapex. So once again, going to swap into Golurk. Unfortunately, I'm met with an Umbreon, but Umbreon is quite bulky, so we're going to go for a Dynamic Punch here, and it's super effective damage, but unfortunately it's not enough to take them out. They will get to a charge move here, and it's actually barely not enough to take me out, so they do get an extra snarl through, but from this range we should be able to Fairy Wind, farm down the Umbreon, and come out with a ton of energy. So if it's something like a double Dark team, we might still be in for a in for some play here because we can farm them down, instantly swap into the Krookodile, and then maybe double shield, wait out the switch clock, and then come back in with the Mawile. But unfortunately, it's a Frostlass, and I'm looking at my health here. We're able to get to a crunch on the CMP type, but they're just doing way too much damage that unfortunately there's nothing I'm going to be able to do here. I'm not going to be able to realign the Mawile onto this Frostlass, so I will just let this Frostlass get to another charge move, and this will be taking me out. So GG's to that opponent there. Not a lot I could have done there, so unfortunately I do lose that game, but very well played by my opponent. Into the next game, we lead into another Galarian Weezing. We're going to say swap into the Golurk. We're met with a quick attack Alolan Raticate. We actually tank a crunch, we get to the dynamic punch, and this is double super effective damage, and it one-shots the Raticate, so Golurk is an Alolan Raticate counter confirmed. And they're going to come back in with the Galarian Weezing. At this point, we're just going to come in with the Krookodile here. I'm thinking that we might even be able to farm them down, and if they've got like another dark type in the back, we want to align to the Mawile, but actually they've got a Salazzle, and oh my god, did you see that Mud Slap damage? That was ridiculous. And we take that game. So GG's to that opponent there. Into the next game, we lead into a Drapion. Now I'm kind of hoping that they don't have Aquatail here, and they are going to go for a charge move. They go for the Sludge Bomb. That is resisted, only single resisted because of that fairy typing. We go for a play rough, it lands, we're going to swap, but my opponent swaps at the same time, anticipating a potential snipe, and unfortunately we swap into the wrong ground type because they are dealing massive super effective damage with the counter damage, whereas if we came in with the Golurk, we would be able to double resist the damage from counters. And at this point, I don't really know what they've got in the back, but I am going to have to double shield to make sure I can keep my alignment here, go for the second shield, and hoping that Golurk can deal massive super effective damage against what's in the back. But unfortunately it's a Frostlass, and once again Frostlass is proving to be pretty tricky for this team. They're going to get to a charge move before I get to mine, so I will let this go through. Avalanche takes me out. Going to come in with the Mawile here, expecting them to catch. My only play is to Fairy Wind, farm down the Drapion, but they're able to get to another charge move, and Crunch from this range takes out the Mawile, and I do lose that game. So GG's to that opponent there. Into the next game, we lead Mawile into an Alolan Marowak Shadow, so we need to get the hell out of there. We're going to swap into the Golurk. My opponent is staying in for a while, farming up some energy, and then swapping into Wigglytuff, and Wigglytuff is going to do enough charm damage to easily take me out here, but not before I get to a Dynamic Punch. That does huge damage, and now I should be able to Fairy Wind, farm down this Wigglytuff. We wait out the switch clock here before coming back in, and they are able to get to a charge move here. For some reason, they just go for an Ice Beam. Maybe they want even more farm on the Alolan Marowak. We're going for that play rough. My switch clock is going to come up, so I'm able to swap out and farm them down before they get to a charge move or can react. And now they've got a Toxapex in the back, and this is going to be a very easy matchup here. I can go for the double shield and then just fully Mud Slap, farm down this Toxapex, and we'll easily be able to take them out here. I don't know why they're wasting their time going for the double charge moves here. We're able to Mud Slap, farm them down, and take that game. So GG's to that opponent there. Into the next game, we lead Shadow Mawile into another Sableye here. So once again, this is a decent matchup for us, but they are still going to do massive damage with those Shadow Claws, so it's actually not the best matchup ever. We're able to get a shield with the Iron Head here, so we're going to shield up as well, and then get to one more Iron Head before they get to another charge move here. And Iron Head from this range does get the final shield. We're actually going to swap into the Krookodile now. They have to go for a return to do big damage, otherwise it is resisted. We do shield up the return. They're going to swap into a Shadow Venusaur. We're going to go for a Crunch here, and Crunch does massive damage. We're able to Mud Slap, farm them down, which is insane. And now they're going to come in with Frostlass, and once again Frostlass getting a massive energy advantage. Now there's not a lot we can do, unfortunately. Frostlass once again proving to be very difficult here. Even Mawile doesn't have the best or most comfortable matchup. Avalanche takes us out here, and they're easily going to get to another Avalanche before we can get to a Shadow Punch, and Frostlass is able to sweep me yet again. So GG's to that opponent there, very well played. Into the next game, we lead into an Escavalier. We're going to swap into the Golurk here, and they're going to come in with a Sableye, so unfortunately this is not looking too good for us either. We go for a Shadow Punch, we do actually get a shield, which is nice, and they are going to go and throw their energy straight away. They go for a Foul Play, that takes me out. I'm going to come back in with the Mawile here, and then go for an Iron Head on the CMP tie with this Sableye. And we do take out the Sableye. They're going to come back in with the Escavalier here. I'm really hoping that I can get to a Play Rough. They let it go through, and then I can swap into the Krookodile, and hopefully they've got something in the back weak to the ground typing. So we go for the Play Rough. It goes through, we swap, and unfortunately they've got a Shadow Gardevoir. So this time we fall victim of the heavy fast move damage teams, and we do lose that game. So GG's to that opponent there. Into the next game, we lead Shadow Mawile into a Shadow Scissor. So once again, going to swap out straight away into Golurk. They are able to get to a Night Slash here, but they throw straight away, giving me a full extra Mud Slap through. They get an attack boost, which is really unfortunate. We're going to go for a Shadow Punch here, but I'm expecting my opponent to shield, and they do, and now they do get to another charge move here. They're going to be able to take me out with the Night Slash, but I can come in with the Krookodile and Mud Slap, farm them down with just one more Mud Slap. We're going to see what they have in the back. It's an Ariados, so they are going to be able to hit for super effective damage with a lunge. We're going to shield this up, go for a crunch, and then try to catch the next lunge onto my Shadow Mawile. We go for the crunch here. It does big damage, but less damage since they debuff my attack. We're able to catch the lunge on the Mawile. They've got a Nidoqueen in the back. We're going to overfarm massively. Go for the Iron Head on a CMP tie with the Earth Power here. Iron Head gets a shield from the Nidoqueen, and that is exactly what I needed. They go for the Earth Power. That takes out the Nidoqueen. I'm going to come in with the Krookodile. They have to go for a charge move here, but Poison Fang is resisted. We can tank it. We're going to go for a crunch here, and from this range, this will take out the Nidoqueen, and the Ariados has barely any health left. We're able to Mud Slap, farm down that Poison Bug type, and I'm able to take that game. Now into the final battle of this video, we're leading into a Crustle. We have pretty good matchups all around here. We're going straight for the Iron Head. And Iron Head takes out the Crustle, so my opponent probably not expecting me to be running double nukes here. We're going straight for the Play Rough. Can we get 2 booms in the first few seconds? Yes, we can. My opponent just quits after bringing in a Shadow Gramble, and I'm able to take that game. So GG's to that opponent there. So that's going to be it for today's video. As you can see, Mud Slap absolutely shreds through the Halloween Cup meta, so definitely take advantage of it whilst you can. And if you enjoyed today's video, make sure you leave a like, leave a comment letting me know, and as well, don't forget to respond to the question of the day if you haven't done so already. And if you're not yet subscribed and you want to see more content like this in the future, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on post notifications, so that way you're notified whenever I upload a new video. And with that being said, let's get into the shoutouts from my previous video. So firstly, we got Derp Pogo PvP, who says they want to see a Pokemon based on a hummingbird, which definitely would be very cool. Next we got Now Cross, who says a flamingo and a parrot. Now I think Chatot is probably based off of a parrot, but I don't think we've had a flamingo Pokemon yet, so that would definitely be cool. And finally, we got Orlando Veracruz, who says a dolphin Pokemon should be in the future. It is an interesting animal. And honestly, it's quite surprising that we've not seen a dolphin Pokemon yet. So with that being said, thank you all so much for watching today's video, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.